I'd like to call this meeting to order. The roll call has been taken and there is a quorum. Commission members here are Michael Lehan, Brandon Hyde, Pete Shalecki, and Richard Morrell. Do I hear an approval of the minutes from the October 6th meeting?
So moved.
Pete, second.
All in favor? Please state your name and say aye.
Aye. Michael, aye.
Pete, aye.
Aye.
So moved. Communications?
I just have one. It's a deep communication regarding the dam at Taphill Reservoir number 1. Public Utilities is going to be repairing a portion of it. We just got a notice from them.
All right. Old business, IWWCC number 22-17, 853 Scotland Road.
So we have Bob DeLuca online to present for the applicant. Bob, do you want to share your screen?
Sure. It's not letting me do it yet. All right. All right, for the record, my name is Bob DeLuca. I'm with CLA Engineers. I'm representing Paul Turpinning. He owns property at 853 Scotland Road. Let me just try to make this a little bigger. This is the cover sheet. The entire parcel is about 2.7 acres. If you drive by there, it's if you're familiar with Scotland Road, I did some work. The next house is Oakley, right past this on the right. I'm not sure who's across the street, but there is a shed and a garden out front right now, close to the body of water. So what he's proposing is a driveway to access the property, and at the rear of the property to put a 2-bedroom house and a septic system and a well. There's 4 intermittent watercourses that run during the wet season, typically during the spring or wet time of year. They don't always run. So those would need to be crossed. We're proposing crossing them with a pipe for each one. The wetlands themselves are not is not being disturbed, but we're in the upland review area. So we've provided E&S measures. This plan has been reviewed by the town engineer, the city engineer. The Department of Health has signed off on the septic system. And I believe we've addressed all comments that have come from both the town zoning office and the town engineer. This is a blow up of this is a little bit bigger scale, shows as you get into the site, there's some grading that will need to be done in order to get the driveway in, and the house will be set outside the 100-foot buffer. But the driveway and grading will happen within that regulated area. Is there anything else, Dennis, you think I should touch on?
No, I can, if you want to give me the screen back, unless
Dan, sorry.
anybody has any questions related to the plan itself before I take the screen back. Brandon or Pete?
Yeah, were there any concerns from the town engineer?
Yeah, we shopped it around to the different departments and the city engineer had a number of comments that have all been addressed as of the drafting of my memo. I can bring up different comments if you'd like, or Bob can address what they changed in the plan. I know the main comment was going from 8-inch pipes to 12-inch pipes for the 4 crossings.
Correct. We provided some drainage calcs. I think there was some comments related to the paved apron, the driveway.
Yes.
But that's about all I can remember at this point.
So I just want to understand, if I could, this is Brandon Hyde for the record. I couldn't really see the map since I'm on a small laptop here. I apologize. It mentioned everything was in the upland review area, yet there's crossings. I couldn't really see on the map. So the crossings are of a wetland or an upland review area?
They're intermittent streams, which are regulated by you guys, but I guess technically not a wetland.
Okay.
They're not. They don't have wetland soils. They flow during certain wet times of the year, and they're part of your purview, but they're not technically a wetland.
Okay.
I'm going to bring up a bigger view for you. Is that better?
I'll let you know when it loads.
Yeah, I don't see it. There it is.
So those pipes extend how far on either side of the driveway?
That actually was one of his comments, the engineer's comments too. I think they extend, judging by the handling, I'll put a scale to my plan. Looks like they extend about 10 feet on either side of the driveway.
And they will be subsurface?
Correct.
I believe they're going to be a foot below.
Correct. Yeah. We were trying to use a smaller pipe just to avoid the difference in grade. Since the pipes are more or less put on grade, you end up having to raise the road up, but it is, they need to get extended a little ways away in order to do some grading. So there's not too much of a drop off on the sides.
And is the impervious surface going to add any extra flow to those streams?
No, these are just, I mean, it's a proposed gravel driveway. The impervious, I guess that, I mean, the gravel has a little more flow, but it's just, I believe it's an 8-acre watershed that's going to those pipes. So I don't think it'll make much of a difference at that point in the watershed.
Thank you.
Forgive me, I don't want to belabor this. So the hatch marks on the top of the plan and to the left of the plan are wetlands, correct? It's indicating wetlands?
The heavy kind of shaded line dash, yes, and those little triangles are actually the flags that were located by survey.
Yep.
But there's a big dash, there's a big blank spot between them, but that is supposed to be connected, yes.
Yep. Okay. In the hatch marks, the diagonal lines above that. Normally, I would see that on a plan as some sort of wetlands delineation or something. What is that indicating?
Which line are you referring to, Brandon?
all the top lines, where it says existing wetlands, above that, and then all the way out to the road. It goes into the road. That's why I was confused.
It's the
Oh,
flood.
that's the flood zone.
Okay, it's flood zone. I knew it indicated something, but I couldn't see what. There we go, flood zone. Now I see it. Okay. I thought that was the wetlands. That's why I was
Okay.
confused. How that could go across the
And
road
then
and all.
the flagging is kind of confusing when you flag those intermittent streams individually, and there was a little confusion with the flags that we need to clean up on the original plan.
This is Pete. So the septic system will be located in or outside the upland review area?
Outside,
Outside, okay.
yeah, you can see there's a 100-foot buffer line there, just downstream of it.
And I suppose last question, the wetlands to the left of the driveway pulling in, I guess maybe north on this plan, if it's a north indicated plan, is no valuable wetland soils. How about the wildlife? I mean, without seeing this site, it's just doesn't have much value. Is that correct, Bob?
I'd have to defer to my soil scientist letter. He did mention that it was a fragmented wetlands, and but I'd have to get back to you on that regarding its value. I don't know if you remember anything particular near, Dan.
It's part of the Cold Brook system. There's a pond, Coke Pond, right north of there. It says it's the upland soil is formed in glacial till.
I could probably pull up his letter if you'd like.
Yeah, it has no known Connecticut protected species are known to be present on the site per the December 21 update of the diversity database. It's not in an area of concern for deep, and it doesn't fall in a high sensitivity area for archaeological resources either.
Okay, so all that answers my question. So I that's really what I needed to know, I guess. And then lastly, I guess we always run into the old looks good on the plan, and then the homeowner's there for 5-10 years and starts dumping debris and filling the area because they didn't know any better. So this is nothing we can do there, but looks good on the plan. In the past, we've sometimes required some labels along trees and stuff, just saying wetland area, so that if the property does transfer hands, that's clear they can't fill that area. I don't know if that's in the deed, but otherwise, as the plan comes across, it looks good to me.
Dan, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
I'm sorry. It took me a while to get into the meeting, so I missed the introduction with the map. But can you tell me from the driveway from the beginning to the end, how far is that from the pond itself?
You want to know how long the driveway is, or how far is it?
How far is it to the north of this piece is a pond? How far is the driveway away from that pond?
I can only tell you how close the driveway is to its northerly property line. Is that okay? Assuming the edge of the flood line is the pond.
But yeah, I know that when the mobile home was there, right in front of the property, although it didn't get used much, there was drainage from that mobile home into the pond. And I know that because I know the Oakleys who are on the other side of the pond. I know the Braddocks who are across the street. But they periodically found some kind of drainage coming out of that mobile home right next to Scotland Road into the pond. So I just want to, there you go. So there's the pond.
So roughly, if we switch back and, I don't have a scale on me, Michael.
I can scale something if you point to what you want me to scale, Dan.
Okay. Michael, you mean, so the driveway is generally around here?
So from up to where you can see the pond.
So the property boundary looks like it's almost at the edge of the pond on the GIS right here.
So you can see the brook
Yep.
coming in from the west side, coming into the pond, and you can see that pretty clearly. So what is the distance between the northerly boundary of this property and the pond itself? I mean, if we're only considering the wetlands that are on the southerly side of that green line, what's on the other side? The brook running into the pond, and is this going to have any effect on the runoff into the pond?
Yeah,
It looks like the driveway is out of the wetlands boundary outside the 100-foot.
it looks like the pond is close to where the flood zone line is. Does that sound about right to you?
Yeah, there's the stone wall here, and if I
Yeah.
switch back to the aerial, you can see the stone wall.
If you want to know the distance to the closest portion of the driveway to the pond or that stone wall, it's about 80 feet.
Well, I'm not, well, you can see that the pond is not that far away, so what is the protection from any runoff from this property into that pond or into the brook itself that's up near Scotland Road? I mean, has all that been, I just want to know if that's been taken into consideration when these plans were made.
It has. There's silt fence with backed hay bales on that side in particular because of the slopes. And that was a concern during the design.
Okay. Yeah, that's the only matter that's of some concern to me.
So Michael, they have if you follow the hand on my cursor, the silt fence and hay bales runs all along kind of where I'm moving the cursor here.
Yeah, be that northerly side.
The edge of the clearing limits. All the way here on this side of the garden, kind of splits between the garden and the shed that are there now.
Is the driveway going to be paved?
No, it's a gravel driveway.
And the house is far enough away from that pond that it isn't that much of a concern to me. It's just that where that mobile home used to be located, it was very close to the pond, and there was some kind of hose or pipe leading from that mobile home into the brook. So as long as all that's going away, and the pond's protected and the house and septic system are far enough away, then I'm okay with that. I just wanted to clear that up.
Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, is there a motion? If this is a significant activity or not?
This is Brandon. I move that this is not a significant activity. IWWCC 22-17 is not a significant activity.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, please state your name and say aye.
This is Michael. Aye.
Brandon, aye.
Pete, aye.
Rick, aye. Unanimous. Motion is approved. Thank you.
So before you vote
Oh, that's right. Now we have to
approve or
approve the motion.
disapprove the project, I just run
Yeah.
through this real quick.
Get ahead of myself.
As we talked before, it was shopped around to various departments. All the comments were addressed satisfactory. City engineer is good to go. The zoning enforcement officer is good to go. I'm good to go. We did get comments late from MPU regarding the electric utilities underground installation. Those would need to be addressed before final revised plans are submitted. As I mentioned before, it's not an area of concern for deep or archaeological resources. And I would just ask that if someone does decide to make a motion, we can waive the reading of the conditions in my memo, but they'd be made part of the motion.
Well, I'll waive that. Go ahead.
Is there a motion to approve and waive the reading of the memo?
Second.
Who initiated the motion?
Okay, I made the motion.
Michael made this motion. Brandon Hyde, second.
All in favor?
Brandon, aye.
Brandon, yes. Michael, yes. Peter?
Aye, yes.
Rick, aye. Unanimous. So moved. New business.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Bob. I don't have anything that came in.
And no other business and no violations.
Not this month, potentially for next month.
Is there a move to adjourn?
Pete, motion to adjourn.
Brandon Hyde, second.
All in favor?
Pete, aye.
Brandon, aye.
Michael, aye.
Unanimous, so moved. Thank you, gentlemen, very much.
Thank you all. Happy holidays.
Have a good evening. Happy holidays, everybody.
Thanks for your time.